My Electro Smash PedalSheild arrived today. It's the box, pretty small, holds all the components. Let's see what's inside. So that's our PCB. Yeah, inside. These are all our electrical components, resistors, capacitors, diodes, LED. Then we have all our bigger electrical components, potentiometers, input-output jacks, integrated circuits, and then we have our connector pins that are used to connect the PedalSheild to the Arduino. Then we have just some screws, and then we have the PedalSheild cover. So this just goes on the top of it, makes it look all nice. So then a few screws just to bring it all together, and yeah, so that's what comes in the pack. And yeah, actually thought it was going to be bigger. So here we have all the electrical components that are necessary and that come with the PedalSheild. So these are all needed to build the guitar pedal. So starting here quickly, just resistors. Then we have your diodes, capacitors. So these are all your electrolytic caps, your film and ceramic caps. Then we have a LED up here. Then we have ICs, so this is your integrated circuit, small components. Then we have a potentiometer, or sorry, that's a toggle switch. Then we have our pots below. So that's our foot switch, give you bypass control, input output jacks, toggle switch, and this is your PCB board. So this is what you're going to solder the components to, and it's a PCB board with all metal connections. You can kind of see it there. So that is what everything's going to go on, and this is your trimmer also. So that's all that comes with the pack. And also we have our other pieces, but these are just all the electrical components that are necessary. So soldering has started. I'm starting with the resistors, and so far it's been going okay. Some of the joints don't look the best, so I'm just using a soldering iron, snips, and a tool to clean the solder, and I'm using lead-free solder, and yeah, just piece by piece putting it together. I'm using blue tack, which is pretty handy, just to hold down the circuit when you're soldering. Okay, so first stage nearly done. I have all my resistors on, and now I have to put 4 diodes in. So far the soldering's been going okay. You can kind of see a little village there. Some of the joints were a bit off, a lot of solder was sticking to it, but I kind of picked it up as I went along. But so far it's going okay. It took me about an hour to get set up and to get these resistors in, so keep at it. Okay, so all the resistors, capacitors are in, and I think that the solder turned out alright. Blue tack was very handy, and so now it's for the bigger components, the potentiometers, switches, and I've put an LED in also. So I have the board completely built, and I don't have the cover on top because I was still testing to see if it worked. So, and I also got my Arduino board today. There she is. So my LED is working. So I first plugged it in and I didn't get anything, and I started to troubleshoot, and what I started to do was, you can see here, check voltages of the power supply of the first op amp and the second op amp, and I thought there was a short and problems, and then I took a step back and said about the Arduino program. So then I went in and I actually had to download the correct board, which was pretty easy. Just go into Tools and Board Manager and download the Arduino Duo board. And when I did that, and then I selected the correct port, which again is pretty easy, just USB Arduino programming port, and then it actually all worked. So there actually was no problem, and the build went pretty smooth, which was very surprising. But the forum was extremely helpful, just kind of ticking things off that it wasn't a power supply when I knew I was getting volts, 5 volts or 4.8 volts at the selected pin 4, pin 8, pin 1, pin 8. So yeah, so I might as well try and play something. This is the reverb effect, if you can hear it. Bit kind of a delay, but so yeah, it kind of worked, and all the effects I loaded in, the chorus, the delay, the gain, and the echo effect, they all worked. So yeah, and the sound quality of some of them are pretty interesting. A few noises and glitches on it, but I'm pretty happy that it works, and because I kind of thought that I would have been a long time troubleshooting and looking for some solder joint that wasn't done properly. So happy days, I guess. So completed, finished, and screwed together, and looking all nice. So I fitted it all together. I cut these rubber covers for the screws, and I didn't think there was enough, but I don't think you can fit one here, so you'll see that when you're building it, but I might try and get some more. But yeah, it came together pretty nice, and it actually looks pretty well. And the potentiometer is tight fit to this screw here, but I just raised it a bit, and it seems to be working pretty well. And the toggle switches, actually they're kind of, it's hard to get into them, but no, I'm pretty happy with it. The foot switch as well, and I actually think the pedal looks pretty well with the Arduino and stuff. So I might get some covers here. I've seen it on the forum, little just rubber balls to just have a bit more stability on it when it's on the ground. But I'm not sure if I have too much confidence busting my foot down on that, because it's a hard foot switch to do. But yeah, overall extremely happy.